Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm getting ready to head out to the second Ham Fest I've ever been to. The first one was a pretty good success as far as sales go. I've got some stuff that I'll be bringing to this other sale that didn't sell at the last sale. So those are featured in the first one of these episodes that I did. So if you want to see that stuff, feel free to check that out. I'll try and put a link in the description. And in the meantime, let's dive right in. I've got another extra DVM sitting around here that doesn't owe me anything. So this is a Fluke 73. I just put a new battery in it, and it's working fine. It does need a new set of leads. Their tip is broken off on this lead, and I also noticed that when I wiggle right here, this is a common break point for the conductor inside these. So I'll just sell it as is with the need for new leads. And this is a model 73. I thought I just sold one of these, but it turns out, I checked my notes, the one I sold was a 77 and it looked identical to this. So I was like, well, what's the difference between a 73 and a 77? Well, it became real evident real quick. There's no continuity beeper or diode test beeper in here. So this is a silent meter. So I think I got $25 for the last one of these. Probably try and get 25 for this one. The next item up on the bench is my Redco frequency counter. This is the RFC50, which I believe that means it's usable to 50 megahertz. And this was by the Reliable Electronics Design Company of Santa Fe Springs, California. And I'll tell you, if you lose the power cord on one of these, I don't know what you're going to do, because it's funky, to say the least. This one does have the power cord. And this unusually named little frequency counter actually has a decent following online. The last one of these that sold on eBay in the last 6 months actually sold $69.99 used, working. And the buyer paid $12 shipping on top of that. So that's pretty decent. And there's one available right now that actually has 3 bids on it. It's up to $42 plus shipping already. Don't know. That auction's gonna end after the sale that I go to, so I won't know until after the sale exactly what that's gonna sell for. And this appears to be working. Of course, you need to put a signal into it to know for sure, but I do recall last time I used this, it worked. I actually contemplated keeping this one because it has the PL259 female connectors, the coaxial connectors right on the back, the in and the out. So you could have your transmitter, your radio run through this right out to the antenna, which makes it handy. I think what I'm going to do is I've got this one and I've got the Heathkit that's coming up. I think I'll bring both of them, and then whichever one I end up selling, I'll keep the other. Oh, well, this is interesting. I went to use my my old Heathkit RF signal generator to see if I could check this frequency counter. I just happened to accidentally have the ground lead hit the case and thought I heard a little spark. It's barely perceptible, but there's a tiny spark happening right there. This has got a 3-prong plug on it, so the case is grounded through the ground prong. So I didn't think this was the problem. My old Heathkit RF generator has just a non-polarized plug on it. And when I measure from the shield on the probes here on the generator to the metal box of my electrical outlet here on the bench, which is grounded, I'm getting about 58 volts AC. So a little bit of excitement there. So apparently I've got to do some service on that generator. Just in case anyone's curious, more than likely the culprits are these 2 capacitors right here. These 2 capacitors, one end of each one of these capacitors is attached directly to a lug that is grounded to the case. And then each other end of the capacitor is across the line. And so one or both of these capacitors has probably become leaky and is allowing AC voltage to leak to ground. It's a pretty common failure on this older equipment. The modern replacement capacitors typically are you have to get the right type. They're safety caps, and they are rated really well. Of course, I just got an order from DigiKey, so why couldn't I have just discovered this last week? So those two caps in there are actually filters. They're supposed to suppress RF leakage back through the AC line, and because of the fact that they're going from one side of the line to ground and then the other side of the line to ground, that's called an X configuration. So it's an X-type safety cap is what I want to put in to replace them. These caps that are in here are just regular caps, so they've become leaky and obviously are a problem. Next up on the chopping block is this interesting old power supply I picked up a while back. This is an ATR rectifier power supply, a model 610C-ELIF. This was made by the ATR Manufacturing Company of St. Paul, Minnesota, and it's a beast. It's two ranges, 6 volt and 12 volt range, which is selectable by this toggle switch right here. And it's interesting, it's got this little lockout, so you can't accidentally put it back to 6 volts if you don't want to. And then it's got this adjustment knob, but the adjustment knob, oddly enough, it's actually almost like a tap. It's got different taps, so that might actually be taps on the primary of the transformer. So it's rated for up to 10 amps at 6 volts and 6 amps at 12 volts. I've never seen one of these before. And this one's working perfectly fine. On eBay, I can't find any currently for sale. There was one that sold in the past 6 months, very close. It was a model 620C-ELIF. So I'm assuming that might be a slightly newer model. Same ratings, 6 volt, 10 amp, 12 volt, 6 amp. Almost exactly the same layout of the power buttons, the switches and everything, the meters. This is kind of a gray color. This one appears to be like a light beige or something. Try and give you a better idea of that color compared to mine. But the most shocking thing to me is about this thing is that this person advertises for $99.99 or best offer, plus $28 shipping, because this is a heavy little beast. And they said for parts or not working, and they basically said it was untested, which is a riot, which makes me think that maybe there was really something wrong with it, because I mean, testing this thing couldn't be easier. It's got its own built-in voltmeter, and somebody used to buy it now and paid the full $99.99. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to probably want to try and get $50 for this thing at the Hamfest, and probably be hard pressed to find anybody who would even make me an offer on it. But I'll haul it along. It's kind of neat. It's got the meter movement kind of bounces when you switch, and you have to wait for it to settle down. It's got no dampening in it. Reminds me of the old ammeters they used in old cars. And in case you're wondering if the ammeter works, there you go. Believe me, I wouldn't do that with a modern power supply that doesn't have overload protection built into it, but this thing's such a beast. One last thing about this power supply. Get a load of how the power cable enters the cabinet here. It just basically goes in through this big hole in the bottom, and there's no grommet or anything there, so over time that can rub through the cable. I mean, I think that's, I don't see any other places where there could have been like a strain relief or anything, so I think that actually is how they made this thing. Next up is this Ray Jefferson Model 689 VHF Marine handheld radio. I know it's Marine because Ray Jefferson is a well-known company that makes stuff for boating. So I'm not sure exactly what frequencies it covers, but it seems to be working perfectly fine. Got the original AC adapter, or at least I think the AC adapter that came with it. I picked this up at a yard sale for $5 with the case. It has a battery pack that you charge with the same, using the same AC adapter, but there's no indicator to tell you if it's charging. I'll try and throw a charge into it, but I bet you the common problem with these is that they have nickel cadmium cells in them that go bad. But you can take these apart and rebuild them if you want to go through the effort. Upper button here turns the light backlit LCD on, so you can see it at night, and then that's the push to talk button. That's the change channels. 16 must be like a universal hailing channel or something, because it's got a quick, or like an emergency channel, kind of like channel 9 used to be the emergency channel on CB radio. USA International. It's got a scan feature, which I guess you're going to turn the squelch up maybe to get it to start scanning. Oh yeah, that's kind of neat. And a weather. That didn't do anything. That sounded horrible. I should shut scan off maybe. There we go.
Highs in the upper 30s. Northwest winds around 5 miles an hour, becoming northeast in the afternoon.
Alright, so I don't think these are very valuable anymore, but I don't know. I guess maybe we'll see if we can't get 15 or 25 somewhere around there for it. Could always steal the rubber ducky antenna off of it, I guess, if we that was on there for a while. And just for giggles, I think I will try and throw a charge on this pack overnight and see what happens. Next up is this little Cobra 19XS mobile radio. I think this doesn't work, but I can't be sure. I don't have a power plug for it, so I just popped the top off because I needed to check and verify which pin is negative and which is positive. I didn't want to hook up the polarity backwards on this thing, and the way I did that is I just take my ohm meter and I go to the case, which I know is ground, and I see which one of these pins has continuity to ground, and it's the right hand one, which tells me the left hand one is the 12 volt DC input, and I'm seeing about 175 ohms there, which is about 0.06 amps when I power this up, so it's not shouldn't smoke or anything unless there's something else wrong further down the line. I think I'll take a Sharpie and mark this so I don't have to keep doing that. Alright, hook up the power supply to this thing and see what we got. Alright, so I got meter lights, but no LED readout. Now, could it be on PA? How the heck do you turn the PA on in this thing? Oh, I see. That's PA. That's radio. I would say that that puppy is dead, so some sort of power issues, and I'm not going to, well, other than checking for like just the obvious bad connection. Nope. Alright, I guess I won't bother with that. We'll sell it as a parts radio. Microphone maybe is worth something to somebody. Kansas City Skip. I'd say this radio's got ears on it. I got the screwdriver stuck in the back, and I'm getting Skip out of Kansas City. So I couldn't resist the temptation just to see if I could figure out what was wrong with this radio, even though I wasted more time than I should have on this thing. Turns out I found the schematic online, and I noticed that the 12 volt supply goes in to the radio from the rear. It immediately goes over through the power switch and then goes to the meter light. But then it also goes through the PA switch. So this switch here on the squelch, on the back of the squelch potentiometer, there's a switch. It's a two section switch, and the 12 volts basically goes through that switch. So when you put it in PA, the switch is closed in one position and in the other position. No sooner did I start poking around on that switch than all of a sudden the display came on. Of course, I still didn't have any audio, but then I remembered, oh yeah, got to plug the mic in. Plug the mic in. That's the good news. Bad news is I'm not getting any. There's a little TX light right here. It's got a problem with transmit. Again, couldn't leave well enough alone. Took a little jumper wire, started poking around in here, and got it to transmit. So I've got a problem with this microphone. So ground to that second pin is receive, and then if I ground this pin right here, that's how I was able to make the transmit light come on. Of course, the needle's pegging because I don't have an antenna on, so I don't want to key it for very long, otherwise I could blow the finals. So of all the radios that I have, and all the hand mics I have, and all the bass mics I have, I only have one microphone that's got a 5-pin DIN plug on it, and it's this old D104. Let's see if it's pinned right. Oh, receives good. Yep, there we go. So we get a bad mic cable more than likely. Probably there's a break right up in the front underneath here. Let me throw a dummy load on this thing. See what kind of wattage is coming out of it. Well, both of my watt meters are showing this thing kicking just a hair over 4 watts into the dummy load. So I'd say this is probably a pretty healthy radio. Time to move on to something else. Last one was the smallest radio I had. This is the second smallest radio. This is a 21 LTD Classic. Let's see what this one does in the dummy mode. Well, that was easy. No RF output. Transmit light comes on, but no wattage out. Probably smoked finals. I'm kind of dying to see what this radio does. This is the Cobra 29 LTD WX Classic that I picked up not that long ago for a whopping $2, and it had a sticker right on it that said $2 parts. So it's a parts radio made in China. And China. The screws were missing in the cover, but I opened it up, and other than the speaker wire being broken off right at the speaker terminal, this does not look that horrible. I don't see any parts missing. This is interesting. What's this board right here? Is that a mod? Let's see if it does anything. Oh, interesting. This son of a gun powers up. Might be worth taking a moment to fire up the soldering iron to see if we can't reattach that speaker wire. I think I guess I wasted enough time on this radio tonight. This is quite the butcher job somebody did on this radio. This PC board right here looks like some kind of a mod that somebody stuck in here. I don't think this is original to the radio. Part of the reason I think that is because the way it's just kind of slapped in here, it's held in by one screw, and then this bracket sticks up and doesn't appear to mount to anything. And not only that, but this control right here, according to the front panel, is supposed to be for the weather frequencies, so it should be a selector. And instead, it's a dual potentiometer with an on-off functionality to it. And all of the wiring from this potentiometer is coming up through these shielded cables up to this board. So I think this is some sort of a talkback module or Roger Beep type thing, or echo board or something like that. I don't really know much about these kind of stupid mods. Anyways, this is TR23, the power regulator transistor. There's nothing coming into it. There's nothing coming out of it. And it's supposed to be fed by a resistor, which is lifted out of circuit and has its end tied to the end of another resistor, which isn't what the schematic shows, and then a wire running over to somewhere else. So it's just going to be one of those rabbit holes I just don't want to go down any further. So I think this one is indeed parts at best. This is a little like emergency radio deal. Basically, it's a little portable radio you keep under the seat of your car, I guess is the idea behind it. And this is an empty case that you can put batteries in, so you can take it portable. And then I think originally there was a rubber duck antenna that was in here that's missing, that you could screw right into here. And then if you didn't have that, you would plug this in, and this attached to a mag base that went here that's also missing. But the radio itself, I believe, works perfectly fine. I think I did test this a while back. Not much more testing I can do about that. I had 2 of these. I think the other one was more complete. Got a couple of these old vintage walkie-talkies. This is an old TRC-81. It actually works fine. I'm wiring directly to it, to the contacts in there, 9 volts, and it's working fine. This is a 3-channel walkie-talkie, and the idea is that there's 3 slots in there that you can put crystals in. Only one of the slots has a crystal in it, and I have no idea, without taking it apart, what channel is in there. Chrome's not in the greatest of shape, but it's actually a working radio. And then we got some corrosion damage in here that I had cleaned up a while back. So use this 6 AA batteries in here, and then this pack drops in like so. And the battery door is not missing. So if somebody had a broken one of these that they were restoring, and they had a broken antenna and a missing battery door, this might be worth a few bucks. This one, kind of a neat looking one. This is a 3-channel TRC-82. Unfortunately, this one is completely dead. This one's missing the battery pack that drops in here, but I tried putting 9 volts directly to the contacts there, and even to the wiring, and nothing at all. Here's the last of my 3-channel walkie-talkies, crystal ones. This one is actually in really nice shape. And it's a full 1 watt. It's a TRC-88. So unlike the other ones that were 9 volts and weren't full wattage, this one is a full 1 watt. Unfortunately, the way it does that is it's pretty power hungry. It uses 9 AA batteries. So each cell is 1.5 volts. Over here you've got this one, so these all go down, these compartments go all the way down here. So there's 3 batteries that'll go here, 3 here, and 3 here for the 9. And then there's this one extra spot right here that's filled with this piece that comes out. This is a jumper. And the reason why that's in there is because if you're using regular batteries, you have the jumper in there, and then 1.5 volt cells give you 12 volts. If you want to use rechargeable batteries, because the rechargeable batteries are only 1.2 volt, they want you to put 1 extra cell in here. So the idea is you would take this jumper out and put another cell, another 1.2 volt cell in here for your rechargeable, and then right here is the charge port, so that you could actually recharge those batteries internally. Well, unfortunately, you can't run this off the AC adapter. The AC adapter port right here is just for charging the rechargeable batteries if they were in there. I'm not going to bother putting in 9 batteries just to see if this works. I'll just sell it as is. Now we get into the more modern-ish walkie-talkies. This has got a PLL in it, so no more crystals. This is full 40-channel capability here. This is a TRC-222. That last one, if I didn't mention it, was a TRC-88. This one, same problem as far as the batteries go. This one's actually missing the jumper here. So we definitely would want to put just rechargeables in this. But unlike the last one, this one has the added benefit of the dual ports on the side. We've got 1 port for power and 1 port for charging, so I should be able to run this one. Of course, I do want to make sure I've got the polarity correct. Usually the center pin is positive. Every once in a while they'll throw you a curveball and switch it around on you, and that would be reverse polarity, which could damage the circuit or the adapter, but this one is what we expect it to be. Oh, is that normal? The channel readout goes dark after I turn it on. That could be a battery saving feature, I guess. That's exactly what it is. That's kind of neat. So what happens is, so as I was saying before my camera battery died, was it's got this neat power saving feature where when you first turn it on, you can see the display and it immediately goes, it fades to black. But see, the radio's still on, and when you turn the channel selector, it lights up to tell you what channel you're on, and as soon as you stop, it fades out again. You can see the battery check is showing full illumination because I'm on the charger. And it transmits, and everything seems to work perfectly fine with it, so these trade for around 25 bucks in good working order like this on eBay. And this is a Maxon PLL 40 channel walkie-talkie. It's got kind of a really slim design to it. This one's kind of interesting because it uses the 9 batteries just like the other one, only instead of needing a battery eliminator to put another battery in there, and the way they were able to keep this slim design with just 9 batteries is they've got something in the circuit to compensate for it. And there's a tiny little switch right here. It says AL and NI, so that's alkaline and NiCad. So depending on what kind of batteries you put in there, you flip that switch and you're good to go. Unfortunately, this is the, again, the DC 13.8 volt charge input, so I doubt that we're going to be able to get anything to come out of this. Oh, well, I stand corrected. This one will run with no batteries in it off the port there, so you can charge it or off. No, that's kind of a neat design. Oh, so this is like the other one where it dims the readout as soon as you stop changing channels. Seems to function. Oh, I said that was the last of the 3 channels a while ago, but I forgot about these puppies. Not 1, but 2. So these are in crazy nice condition with the original carrying cases. So these are TRC 99Cs. So there's just a little bit of battery corrosion here on the outside. Yeah, I had deoxed these, so that's what a lot of that residue is that's in there. And I was able to test these previously, and they did work. Power that one up off the AC adapter, and then I'll run this one off of the power supply. Well, the next item I've got here is this really early CB base station. This is a Knight. I'm sorry, not a Knight. This is a Johnson Viking Messenger. But I think they made different series of these. I think this is a really early one. So this is before 23 channel. The way this worked is you had a channel selector here that just selected a socket, A, B, C, D, or E. So basically 5 channels, and then inside here you would put in the frequencies of the channels that you wanted to have. So you could do 5 different channels by switching this, and then if you wanted to change the different frequencies, you had to open it up and change the crystals. This is going to be untested, sold as is, because this has this 2, 4, 6. This is interesting. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I had to count twice. That's a 9-pin. So that's not an octal plug. So I really have no way to test this. I am going to open it up though, because it sounds like there might be a tube loose in there for one thing, and also I just want to see what it does have in it for crystals in case someone asks. Alright, looks like it's just 2 screws on the back here to open this up. I stand corrected, make that 4 screws. Oh, look at the dust inside this thing. Wow. Come on. Yeah. That's one of the tube shields. I don't think I see one cap in here that doesn't look original. So this is going to need some recapping. Oh, look at that big old electrolytic there. Big old axial lead. I wonder if that's a Sprague. Made in the USA. I can't see the maker's name on it though. Well, the good news is all the crystal banks are full. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. Because one crystal for receive and one crystal for transmit. As far as the channels go, looks like channels 11, 17, 18, 19, and then this last one is 27.2950, which I don't remember what frequency that is off the top of my head. And oddly enough, that looks like a different frequency in the crystal for receive. Huh, alright. Alright, I'm guessing by the lack of dust on this tube that this is where this shield came off of. Looks like that's supposed to have a shield on it too, which I don't see anywhere, so that is missing. Boy, it's been a while since this radio was on the air. I can tell by the license number. It's KBZ in 4 numbers, and I remember back in the late 70s, early 80s was right around the time, I think, where they started running out of 3-digit letter prefix license numbers, and they went to a 4, because my friend had a 3-letter one because he inherited his brother's license from late 70s, and then by the time I got my license and it came in the mail, it was a 4-letter prefix, which that was early 80s then, as a matter of fact. So I would say definitely it was the 70s when they ran out of those 3-letter prefix license numbers. Who cares? Oh, just figured out what it was hanging up. This microphone bracket that somebody just kind of haphazardly screwed onto the side case here. The screws actually stick out too far. And that's what's keeping this from sliding on and off easily. Well, if this thing was in better condition, had the microphone cord and was actually working, it'd be worth around $75 on eBay. But the majority of them are listed as parts-only radios, which makes sense. And then the ones that seem to be missing microphones and cords, they're trading for around $30. And there's even one here that's sold for as little as $16.49 is what the bidding went up to. That also had higher shipping charges because this is a heavy little radio. So I think I'll be happy if I can get $20 for this thing. Maybe even have to let it go for 15.